welcome to Chuckle Gamers match preview. The final home game of the season is West Ham United against Luton Town. Gonzo, may you kick us off with your thoughts on the Hatters, please?
It's one of the most miraculous promotions that I can think of in recent years, particularly since the Premier League every season gets richer and richer, and so the divide between the rich and the poor grows ever increasingly large, and it's really hard for teams to get promoted. And the ones that generally do, there are a lot of big clubs down there, and I'm talking about the Championship and then even lower leagues than that. It's not like, let's not pretend Luton have spent all their time in the Championship. There's a lot of bigger clubs down the Football League, bigger than Luton Town. So what they did to get promotion was absolutely remarkable. And I'll tell you something now, they have been a real good addition to the Premier League. They've not had the infrastructure that someone like Brentford had when getting promoted, where you felt that Brentford had been building to promotion for the Premier League for a good 6 or 7 years. The whole thing had been geared towards that. Luton hadn't. There was no, it was quite impressive the way it happened. And the way they've gathered together, really a bunch of journeymen. Some of them have come from non-league. Some of them, like Ross Barkley, for instance, have, maybe their career has stalled at the top level. And, Rob Edwards managed to get this ramshackle bunch of players together. And I'll tell you what, I can't think of anyone. I've not heard anyone say a bad word about Luton. I'm not just talking about out there. I'm talking in comments. You would be on YouTube or on social media or anything else. I had nothing but goodwill towards Luton as well. And I got to say, when I saw how that Rob Edwards reacted after Tom Lockyer had the cardiac arrest, I thought he was magnificent. I thought he was a proper leadership, and to strike that balance of showing a sort of a caring and concerned nature, but having to carry enough authority through it to carry that through and not be overwhelmed by the situation. It's a really hard balance. It's the old iron fist in the velvet glove, basically, which is a very, very hard thing to do. I was so impressed by him as a man, and I think he looks to be a pretty damn good coach as well. So I've got nothing bad to say about Luton at all.
Yeah, we all love an underdog story, don't we? I think in this day and age, as football gets more and more modern, let's just call it that for the sake of it, with VAR, scrapping FA Cup replays, the Premier League becoming a money-making machine, the greedy six trying to go off and do their own league and stuff, the romance of football disappears every year. It gets less and less. So when something comes along that actually money doesn't matter, they're doing it against all the odds, you as a neutral, I think, can sometimes cling to that, and I'm certainly guilty of it. I cling to it, and brilliant, and I find myself rooting for the underdog quite a lot, and they're such the underdog. They've basically had 38 games this season where they are David up against Goliath, because even Sheffield United, Norton Forest, even those up below and above them in the league have got vast budgets in comparison to Luton Town and what they can spend on players, what they can spend on wages. And I've been hoping they would do it. And at the start of the season, they looked like a championship team. They were just getting whooped every week. And I think I and a lot of other people wrote them off before a ball was even kicked this season. We all thought, there's no chance they're going to do it. And while they made one or two interesting signings, nobody knew how good Ross Barkley was going to go on and become. Some people might have done, but I think he's been a hell of a lot better than I thought he would. And he picked up the likes of Andros Townsend, got Lokonga on loan. It was like, all right, some good signings, but is enough? Not too sure. And then towards Christmas, they started really making a go of it and started picking up results and putting in performances. And I found myself really rooting for them to stay up. And now it just feels like they've just not quite been able to do enough in the last month or two in order to give themselves a chance. I mean, they do have a chance, Gonzo. Do you think they will stay up?
I think they might. I really do. I think they might. I think 3 points might do it, actually.
Nah, you haven't looked at the goal difference column, have you?
Sorry, no, 4 points. You're right. It's tight, but it's Nottingham Forest. And Nottingham Forest got to play Chelsea. And then Nottingham Forest to then go to Burnley. Now, Burnley may well be relegated by that point because Burnley have got to play Tottenham. But I still think they're in with a shout. I really do. I really do. And at the moment, I looked at Forest, and yeah, I do think it's doable. They finish up against Fulham, Luton, and I think they can win that game. Well, look, if they can beat us, make no mistake about that. Anyone can beat us. I don't know whether the dynamics of West Ham will have changed. We'll get to that in a minute, but they could certainly beat us. Why wouldn't they be able to? We're, since 2024, we're a bottom three team. They can make an argument they're better than us. So, yeah, I think they've got a real chance. I've got to think, and if I had if you had to bet on it, you'd bet on Forest because, as you say, they've got the goal difference, they've got the 3-point lead, but they got West Ham and Fulham. Forest have got to play Chelsea, and that's the game this weekend. I'll tell you what, if Luton could get a draw against us, and then they can, and then Forest lose against Chelsea, which I expect them to. I think it's going to be very, very interesting going into that last game. Very, very interesting indeed. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'd be just be the best fairy tale in the world. Really would. See, Forest would be annoyed because they've had a points deduction, but the easy one to pick is Forest. I'm going to pick Luton.
I think they might do it as well because can they beat West Ham this weekend? Definitely. Can they then beat Fulham in the last game? Definitely. So that's 6 points possible. There's 6 points up for grabs for Luton Town. And then it's just a case of can someone stop Nottingham Forest? Can both teams stop Nottingham Forest? Spurs at the minute are a bit of a basket case, and that possibly looks like their most winnable fixture. Weirdly enough, and then you've got, like you said, they play Chelsea, and you don't think they'll do that. But I think Luton need Burnley to win, so that in the last game they've actually got something to play for against Nottingham Forest, and that might actually the best thing for Luton would be that them two are going at it like cats and dogs on the final day, and then they can sort of take advantage of that game. And if they can beat us and they can beat Fulham on the last game, Nottingham Forest just don't win both, then I think they'll do it as well. Actually, I've just got this feeling that they might actually manage this. It won't be labelled as a great escape like other historics ones, but it'll certainly be an interesting last couple of games for them. If they do go down, though, can you see them coming back up? Because there's some teams that, I guess you look at Burnley right now, and you think if they go down, you'd imagine they'll be one of the favourites to come back up next season. But would you have Luton Town in that bracket, or do you think they'd, I don't want to say go back to a mid-table championship side, but ones that are trying to get into the playoffs, essentially?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to repeat the trick. I think their best chance is to stay in the Premier League this season. It's asking a lot. A lot of things have to go right for Luton. They've got to pick up these people, these players that have been discarded by other clubs. They're basically, I'm sorry to say it, well, in fact, I'm not going to say it. They're trying to find sort of hidden gems. They're trying to polish hidden gems in many respects. So that's a hard thing to do. I think it's a lot easier for someone like Burnley, who've got this philosophy of football, have probably had been recruiting for a little bit longer, have been able to spend more money than Luton, no doubt about it at all. Have spent money on players, maybe Burnley, that might not have thrived in the Premier League totally, but will probably be amongst the best players that are in the Championship. And you as I say, you look at them, you look at Barkley, who's been brilliant. You look at them bringing in people like Townsend as well, and there's Tim Krul's there, and you bring in these young players, and they're then relying on loans. There's a lot of stuff that's got to go right for Luton. But that'll be nobody's fault next season. They'll be stronger for being in the Premier League, but to come back again, maybe playoffs next season, maybe.
I think if they can keep a hold of Rob Edwards and the majority of their squad, obviously there'll be a few players moving on in the summer, some are out of contract, because they're now in a, I think with some promoted sides, you can sometimes become in this little bit of an area where you've got players who aren't good enough for the Premier League, but they're good Championship players, so you hang on to them in case you go back down. But then when you go back down, you kind of want to maybe try and get a couple of players that are good enough for the Premier League. So if you do get promoted again, you've got more of a squad, you've got more of a core there. And I think Luton are maybe going to be in this bit of a pickle because Burnley players, in some Sheffield United ones, but Burnley especially, I'd imagine, will have quite a few suitors after their players in the summer, and they'll have some good market value on them. Whereas you look at the Luton squad, and there'll be a few players, I think, that might have some Premier League clubs after them, and maybe West Ham will be one of those teams, but not loads. But I guess that's the advantage. He should be able to keep the spine of his team together, and I hope they do. I've had maybe developed a little bit of a soft spot for Luton Town this season, seeing them in the Premier League and being the plucky underdogs. Mind you, if they're still in the Premier League for the next 2 or 3 seasons, that might disappear. But now, I'm certainly hoping they can do it in the last 2 games of the season. Final question on Luton, then, Gonzo. Players you admire, please.
Yeah, I'm not going to be disingenuous here and pretend that I sit down on a Saturday afternoon and watch Luton Town play football. I don't. I've not watched much of them, and truth of the matter is, I probably switched off when I got to them when they're on Match of the Day. But you couldn't fail to be impressed by what Barkley's done. Barkley reminds me of Michael Ballack. He's always had the talent there. It's just, can someone come along and unlock that? Adebayo has clearly done, really, really well. And there's another defender there as well who's been picked for England under 21s as well. Whose name escapes me, to be honest with you, Geo. But done very well as well. But listen, I would submit to you on knowledge of the players, certainly.
Well, you're assuming I've watched a lot of Luton Town, then, are you? Well, I have. I've seen
quite a bit. Yeah.
I've seen quite a bit of them, to be fair. I think in the first half of the season, I think Ham Utd was fantastic. He's sort of right wing back and left wing back. He goes as and where, but he's sort of nailed down. Well, I say nailed down. He's been left over on the left hand side, his better side. And I'm not sure he's been as good in the second half of the season compared to the first, but I definitely think he's shown he's good enough at this level. And any club that's looking for a wing back in particular, I think you'd be foolish not to look at him. And if you can get him out of Luton, a decent number of assists he's got from that position as well. Barkley, as you said, has impressed. I think Lokonga's impressed next to him too. Mengi's a defender that I've been impressed with the most. And he's been turned on a few occasions. Some top strikers have made him look a little bit silly and reminded him that he's in the Premier League. Watkins and Haaland, and remember back-to-back games. I think he came up against Man City first, and then Haaland scored, I think, 4 goals, all assisted by De Bruyne. It was the same move every time. He was getting touch tight to him far too often. He was getting spun every time. But I've been really impressed by him. Adebayo as well. I think he's a Premier League striker. Now, Morris has also got 10 goals. And this is the thing. Luton have got 2 strikers with 10 goals each. Yeah. We don't even have 2 players on 10 goals each. We've got Bowen on 16 and then Kudus on 7, I think. We don't have 2 players on double figures. So the goals are there in their attack. It's just that Adebayo's been missing for like half the season. And I think if he was fit, they'd have stayed up, I think. The goals are there. And Morris did a good job filling in. And I think he's done okay at this level. A little bit Troy Deeney-esque in the way he just barges into defenders and just tries to ruffle them up a bit. But I think Adebayo's got that sort of touch of class that you need. And if we were to go after him, I would not complain. I think there's a punt there for a Premier League club that are looking for a striker. And I say a punt. He's got 10 goals in Premier League this season. That's a really good achievement for somebody's first year at this level. So I've been really impressed by him. And also, pleasingly, to see Reece Burke in the Premier League. Pelly's a story coming. Ruddock's a story going from the bottom of the English football tier up to the top with the same club. First player to do it. Some players have done it the way they play for different clubs, but Ruddock's the first one to do it for the same club in all the divisions. And it's nice. That's a nice story. But Burke, when I've actually when I've watched Luton, I've almost found myself cheering on Reece Burke on his own. Whenever he did a tackle, I thought, go on. Because I remember sort of being disappointed and felt he should have gotten more of a crack at West Ham.
Yeah.
And then not long after he left, on quite a few occasions, he was in the way end with West Ham fans watching us play. So he's definitely somebody that I like to see do well. And of course, they've got Dan Potts, who's just been injured all season and is leaving in the summer. But there's quite a few ex-Hammers in the Luton team. Anyway, shall we discuss West Ham?
Unfortunately, yes.
Right then, team news. Neil Fagerd is just missing. He's supposedly injured, but maybe he is actually injured, but he's just not been around for quite a few games. So I think it's just fair to assume we might not have Neil Fagerd for this one. Calvin Phillips was mysteriously injured last week. However, there is sort of rumours that we're just done with him and we're just not going to play him again this season. But you can have him if you want. Gonzo, you haven't fell out with Calvin Phillips, so you can use him.
Not yet. I fell out with everybody else yesterday.
Mavropanos was missing last week, but Again, not really had much clarity on him, but you can have him for your team if you wish. Capiche?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay then. Right then, in goal, what would you like to see?
I would see Alphonse Areola in goal for me, please, Gio. Yeah, just get him in there. Fabianski's clearly not going to play next season, so I'm looking. I'm starting afresh, basically. Out with the old, in with the nearly old. He's not a young man, is he, Areola? But yeah.
And your defence, please.
Yeah, sure. Ben Johnson, right back. I would go with Mavropanos. You said I can have him, didn't you?
Yeah.
You said I can. I can have Mavropanos, and I think I'll go with Casey next to him, and then Emerson next to him, please.
Oh, we're nearly matching up. I've also gone Ben Johnson right back. I've gone with Casey Mavropanos as centre back, and I've gone Alan Creswell left back. I think.
Oh, you're waving goodbye. You're saying goodbye.
Yeah, it's a sentimental selection. You know, Bonner. It could be Bonner's last one as well, but truth be told, yeah, I'm not picking up Bonner. Creswell's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So does Emerson deserve to be dropped? No, but has Creswell done anything to warrant not starting? No, just that Emerson's a better left back. But with Bonner, actually, he's been pretty terrible for 2 of the last 3 games. So
sure.
I would like to put Casey in there with Mavropanos. Moving into midfield.
Yeah, I will have Alvarez and next to Lewis Orford for me, please.
Agree.
Hello. What's going on here?
Have you been looking? Can you see the reflection or something?
There's no a reflection in the Noble t-shirt. No, I can see no reflection.
Anyway,
I can see some crap on the sofa, mind you, or whatever it is back there.
It's the guest bed.
Is it? I can't complain. My video that I did, my Wilfred Zaha video, I don't normally have the lights on when I'm doing the stuff, and I went to edit it. Oh my god! And I said to Lisa, I said the lights are on. It looks really messy in here. She said, well, it is really messy. I said, but normally people can't see it. So yeah,
it's organised mess. What I've got back to that box you can see in the reflection, the big one is packaging. It's just
that what it is?
Bubble wrapping. Do you know when I receive stuff, I keep it all for posting it out again. So that's what that big box is. Hence why it's just there. And you might be able to see the Julian Dick's books already pre-packaged, ready. That's under the box. All those are signed Julian Dick's autobiographies, ready for somebody to buy one. So I can just.
Well, there you go. You better get on hammerschatstore.com and buy a Julian Dick's book and clear up his guest bedroom.
That is signed Julian Dick's autobiographies. There's not many left, to be fair, but that's what they are. And that's what you can see.
Allow Geo to have guests round in the guest beds. That's what you'd be doing.
No, that's why it's covered up. I don't want any. Anyway, moving into your attacking midfielders, what would you like to see?
Oh, now this is how many players I've got left. So what have I got? I've got 4-2. I've got 4 more left. I think I'm going to go with Bowen, Kudus, Antonio on the left, and I'm going to have George Earthy in attacking midfield. Kudus is playing up front. He's playing. I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him not a false 9, like a real 11, a true 11, a false 8, a floating number 2. I don't know. It's something different.
A centre forward. On the computer games, it's slightly different, isn't it?
It's a bit back, isn't it? The centre forward's a bit back on the striker.
Or ST, yeah.
Yeah, CF. CF.
Well, after Moyes got told to FO, I think my attacking. To be fair, we've got 3 players to say. I've got Bowen on the right, Kudus in the number 10, Antonio up front, and Paqueta on the left. And listen, He's not my favourite person or player of late, but let's get him back out on that left-hand side. And because it's the last home game of the season, I'm a bit like, let's just have a bit of fun. Have a bit of fun with the lineup. Hopefully the players can play with the shackles off kind of thing. You know, we've had clarity over the manager situation now. If you've down tools for him, fine, but don't down tools for the fans on the last home game of the season. Do it for yourself, do it for each other, do it for the people in the stadium. You don't want to do it for the guy in the dugout. That's okay. Well, it's not okay. I don't agree with it, but fine, whatever. But can we just have a bit of entertainment on Saturday, please? Can we try and win the game, but also just score a minimum of 2 goals? And like you said, have a couple of youngsters involved. Can we just give us something to look forward to? So when the lineup comes out at 2:00, we go, oh, looking forward to this a bit more now. And when the game's playing, we're actually interested, because I'll tell you what, if he wants a good send-off after the game, he might not, but if he does, you don't want to be 2 or 3-0 down by the 80th minute, because that stadium will be half empty before you even ask the crowd to wait around 10 minutes while you go get your change your t-shirts and grab your wife and kids for your lap of honour. Give the fans a reason to stay till full time, and then afterwards and stuff as well. So yeah, Bowen, Kudus in the 10, Paquette on the left, and Michael Antonio up front. Bit of entertainment, please.
Yeah, I think you may well get it as well. Listen, I would imagine David Moyes cares less about saying goodbye to the fans than anybody else. I think there's a lot of people been making a fuss about it. I don't think he's probably too bothered at all. Right. What I do think he would like to do is he's bad at PR, but he likes PR. He tries. So he wants to paint a picture of his record. He's always talking about his record. He's always talking about how he's done in comparison to West Ham historically. He likes talking about his record. It did the same at Everton, was comparing himself to other managers as well. It's what he likes to do. So he likes to. It's amazing. It's incredible, actually. Got such a contradiction. He doesn't particularly like the press. You get the impression a lot of times, but he wants to use them to put the narrative out there. So look. David Moyes has not had his contract renewed. It really is as simple as that. However, he's going to want us. What he wants to talk about is the 3 seasons in Europe and the trophy, rescuing West Ham from relegation. That's the part of it he wants to do. He doesn't want any part of the other stuff, all the negative stuff. He doesn't want any part of the fact that we can't defend this season or anything like that. He's not going to be saying, well, to be fair, at the end, I sort of deserve to go because I couldn't even organise a defence. He's not going to say that at all. And also, so he'll be aware of the criticism as well. He'll be aware of the criticism that he plays, pretty unadventurous football. So I think he's going to go and try and prove people wrong, so as he can point to it and say, look, that's what I do. Look, winning's what I do. Have a look at that. And I think that's what he's going to want, something to point to. And for that reason, I think he will also put some youth in the team over the last couple of games. I think it's probably more likely what he won't want is a thumping against City. So I think you may well find that Luton is the most likely game. He'll also know that it will please the crowd to see youngsters in the team, in and around the team, which sort of begs the question, if he knew it pleased the crowd, why has he done it before? But no, that doesn't matter. So I think he'll go more adventurous than he usually does. And I think you'll see a youngster or two involved at some point. Does that mean starting them? I'm not so sure. But I think you'll see them, because I firmly believe that in 2 or 3 years' time, if we do have a good player there, and it might be Urfi, it might be Orford, it might be Ollie Scholes, it might be Casey, whoever, he won't be able to resist it. This is Moyes. And I'm not criticising him here. I'm just saying, and even if you love Moyes, you know this to be true. He will say, I gave him his debut because he would like to paint a picture that, well, of course, I was always keen to promote youth at West Ham, what with Declan Rice, and obviously, played Ben Johnson as many times as I did, and what with me bringing Lewis Orford through, and this is how it will go. So yeah, call me a cynic in the comments, please, and that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, and I was going to play them all next season, but we had a contract chat, and I decided to take up TalkSport and their offer rather than West Ham. I decided to go be an expert for the Euros rather than
absolutely.
But if I stayed at London Stadium, Casey, Orford, Earthy, they were all going to be in the starting 11 next season,
along with Jesse Lingard
and Harry Maguire.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder who blamed for nicking Jesse Lingard's watch. Anyway, it doesn't matter, does it?
Right then, now's the time to point in the direction of our sponsors of this video, Match Bingo. You can download the app via the link in the description below, or the QR code that's currently on the screen around about here. And there's a few reasons you want to download this one, but we've got the big jackpot this weekend. I thought it was last week. Right, okay, I exposed myself for not being a Eurovision fan. I apologise to no one, though. I'm almost quite proud that I got the date wrong of Eurovision. But it is this Saturday. I've double-checked and I've triple-checked via the Match Bingo app. So you can get a free card. And the reason I want to get this is because the first person to get the full house will win £1,000 cash. But also, anybody else that gets a full house that they just went first will go into the pot, and that pot is £1,000 as well, and that can divide among the rest of the winners. So please do download it. The free card this weekend for the football is Fulham against Manchester City, which is at 12:30 on Saturday. So download the app for free, sign up for free, get your Eurovision card, and get your card for the Fulham Manchester City game. All these things are free. You do not need to deposit any money whatsoever. Just grab them for free. The Luton West Ham game is on there. It's £2 per game. You basically get 15 things you need to happen. Match Bingo updates it for you. So when these things occur, it gets ticked off. It pays out first line, second line, and a full house. Links in the description, but do use that link so they know you've come from Hammer's Chat. Gonzo, are you feeling optimistic? Well, actually, let me before I get onto that. No, we'll go with that one first. I've got 2 questions, so let's go with that one. Are you optimistic?
No, I wouldn't say so. It's so hard everything goes out the window for this one. It's hard to use previous form. It's hard to use anything. The mood of the club's changed. David Moyes' thinking will have changed. I do expect. I really do. I do expect him to completely change his ways. You don't?
No, I think we'll. Yeah, I just don't see it. I think he'll play the same players, and I think we'll see the same subs of Creswell and Danny Ings coming on.
Okay.
We might see Earthy with 10 minutes to go, but he's not going to play Mubama because of the contract situation. Just don't think he'll play Casey at all. So I don't think there'll be room on the bench for Lewis Orford. So I think the only one we'll see is Earthy, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can just point to go that my friend is why you ain't got a new deal. To be fair, he should be like brothers in arms with Mubama. They're both contract rebels, really, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? They should be. I'm going to play you.
Show them what you can do, and we'll both leave.
Absolutely, together. You come join me at TalkSport.
On TalkSport. we can start doing YouTube shows just like the experts out there.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be it's funny, isn't it? It's amazing how they've been TalkSport been so negative about West Ham fans. Isn't it a coincidence that they've gone and hired David Moyes?
They want his expertise. I say optimistic. I'm not, but do you know something? I don't really care.
No.
I'm not that bothered for this weekend. I'm looking forward to the day. I'm sort of looking forward to the football, just out of intrigue rather than anything. But like I said, if he mixes it up a bit and plays a couple of youngsters, I'll look forward to the game even more. But so while optimism is low, I'm not too arsed about it, truth be told. You know, the football's second at the minute because of all the manager stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
Are we possibly the best team for Luton Town to be playing this weekend?
Well, the Sheffield United would be the best team they could play. But yeah, I would. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, like you, ultimately, I just don't care. I mean, I sort of want Arsenal not to win the title. That's quite important, really. I'm just looking for next season. Honestly, I'm in. I've got my bucket and spade, mate, and my speedos on. Do you know what I mean? I'm ready. I'm ready for the beach. Beware if you see me. Say hello. So yeah, I don't. You know what can you say? I'd be more interested. I thought I'd see youngsters. You know what you said made me even less interested. Honestly, the thought that we might rock up and see West Ham playing a bloody deep defensive parking the bus with do you know what I mean, with a midfielder Thomas Souček in there, and and Ogbonna. I love him. I love Ogbonna. I got nothing. I don't have to say that anyway, do I? And Ogbonna and Zuma at the back and all the rest of it, and just to beware of the perils of Luton and stuff like that. Honestly, that makes me even less inclined to be bothered about it. The only thing that remotely get me interested is if we'd see some youngsters in there and stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm all about next season now, mate. I'm all about next season, transfer window. Season's over. Season's over, really, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I don't mind it if they're roughly the same team, as long as you just there's a bit more entertainment. The shackles are off to some extent. Say, right, let's just go. Let's go try to score 2-3 goals, and if we win, great. If that's not the end of the world, it means we've lost 4-3. Let's entertain the fans that are here today and give them something to cheer about. Let's get Jared Bowen scoring another couple of goals so he gets his record up and whatnot. I think we are the best team for Luton to play. I think. Talked earlier this week that David Moyes hadn't even been bothered to turn up to training on time, and nor had his coaches. And I know it was played down by the club.
He's listening to Talk Sport on the radio, obviously. He just made him a nice slow drive in.
Yeah, he banned Tim Steiner from the training ground and himself by the sounds of it.
That's right. And as a coincidence, Nolan and McKinley and everybody else as well. It was quite a coincidence, really.
He's just banning everyone from the training ground. I mean, if only he could ban himself for the last 9 months, we might have.
That's right. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I think we have to be, a team that over the last few games looks like we've just down tools. We've given up. Paqueta looks like his head's elsewhere. If you're Luton, why would you not want to play West Ham this week? The manager's going at the end of the season. We all know he's off ski. This is what you want to play. Can I get any final words from yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's just on that, and I don't know. See, the truth is, I don't know. I can't overly criticise too many of the players because I've just sat here saying I'm thinking about me summer holidays.
Gibbet, if you're not getting paid 50 grand a week, are you? No, yeah, absolutely. You might get a $5 a week if a couple of people download Match Bingo.
2009 Honda, yeah. But it's one of those things, isn't it? I don't know how I would act if I was a multi-millionaire, and I think if I was, and I knew, and I had that yacht or whatever they've got waiting for me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure. Yes, all right, you're getting paid all the money, but if you really know that the manager's not asked, he's not going to be here. I'm probably not going to be here next season either. Someone else is coming in. I've no idea whether he fancies me or not. I
think he's got a wife.
Power up the yacht, and let's just get out of here. Do you know what I mean? And I think with that, you're going to have a bunch of players fighting, but and I would say battle-hardened players, a lot of them as well. These Luton players, who are perhaps not as have been as privileged with their footballing journey as some of the West Ham players. So don't think about it. I think every footballer has to train and have talent, and they've really sort of fought for what they've got, which is why I one of the other reasons why I found the old be careful what you wish for mantra very, very difficult coming from footballers, because that it's highly competitive. Everybody knows someone that's been for a trial at a football club. You all know someone. If you're watching this, everyone knows someone that nearly made it, right? It's so ultra competitive that the people that do make it to the top actually are the people that dared to dream. They are the people that came through amongst thousands and thousands and thousands of other youngsters. You will generally find that the top 400 footballers in the country play in the Premier League. That's just generally what's going to be the case. So they've not been careful what they wished for. They wished big, and in the end that they got it. They got the dream. So it's been a weird thing to hear consistently. But I do think that maybe when you're dealing with, a lot of the players at Luton, a lot of them, there are people that maybe just missed that dream just a little bit. And now they're getting a little taste of it now. And they're not going to want to give that up readily. And as I think you've got a team with that mindset to go and get it, to go and eyes on the prize sort of thing against. I've got a player in mind, but against a West Ham, I'm not doing it. Maybe on Patreon, but this player has got his eyes. He's thinking of the yacht and the pina colada and the hula girls and all the stuff.
Hand.
I say nothing. I'm saying nothing. I've said quite a lot. I said too much, particularly about the watch bit. You can edit it out if you want. But there you go. So I think we're in for a special fixture.
There might be a big financial incentive attached to it for Luton as well. Yeah. A lot of these players will be on less than 10 grand a week. I know. Nobody's getting their violin out for those players, but when at the start of the season, the clubs have to declare what the bonus incentives are for the team if they achieve something that season. So West Ham might say, right, if we get European football, £1 million will be divided pro rata among the squad or something. That's got to be declared at the start of the season. I think that's why Fernandez had issues at QPR, I think, didn't he? I think he tried to add incentives halfway through the season to keep them up or whatever. And he was like, you can't do that.
You're saying just that mime, if you do that mime and you say keep them up at the same time, it's not great.
I'll bear that in mind for future. Anyway, my point was the incentives for Luton, financially, the squad, I wouldn't be surprised if it was quite a lot. And it might not be a lot for someone like Jack Grealish or Kevin De Bruyne, who are paid handsomely. But for those that are on 10 grand a week, it might be, your bonus is 150 grand if you stay. Hang on a minute, what? That's paying off the mortgage in one go kind of thing. Yeah. So there's a lot to play for. Premier League status, like you said, this might be as good as it gets for them. If they go back down, they become a championship player at Luton Town. No Premier League club will come for them. There's only a handful of them, but we'll go to a Premier League club this summer at the most. You look at squads like Southampton, Leicester and Leeds that got relegated last year. They're better than this Luton ones individually. Yeah. Look at how many of those actually got a summer move. Not that many. You look at Leeds United, they've still got Nonto, they've still got Somerville, they've still got Rutter, Bamford. Those are still at those clubs because nobody came for them. So this is, 2 cup finals for Luton Town. I think we might just see a big difference of attitude.
Well, the team talk will be given accordingly as well. There will be a stark difference between Rob Edwards' team talk and David Moyes' team talk. Because what you said there will be. What do I reckon? Who?
Moyes will be. Do it for me, lads. The last ever home game. Do it for me. What do you possibly say to get the players motivated?
Well, this is the thing. I think it's really hard. I think there's nothing you can say. I think a lot of what you said there, Rob Edwards would say. The trouble is, I think it's now the long goodbye, isn't it? For David Moyes, and because it is official now, and things like that, Sky Sports are announcing what he's going to be doing over in the summer. There is that sort of parade sense to it, and almost you could see no difference between now and the end of the parade where everyone's waving and they're holding their children. It could all merge into one. So I do wonder with David Moyes, there might well be a lot of look, guys, thanks for everything you've done for me over the last 4 years. And can we go and give it one last push? And now, it's a nice thing to say, nice sentiment. Of course, thank everybody, lovely. But it's nowhere near as powerful as what Rob Edwards is going to be saying. Fight for your lives, boys. Fight for your lives. Fight for your family. Fight for your jobs. Fight for the club. There's a load of away fans out there. Look at them. The away fans are going to be raucous, and they will. The Luton fans will be cheering and all the rest of it. After this mob out there in the other change room, they don't know where they're going to be next season. The manager's off and all the rest of it. Get stuck into them. Win that first tackle. They're not going to fancy it. A lot of them are going out. They're international players. Going to be playing. Some of them are going to be playing in the Euros. Not going to want to get injured at all. Some of them have got big transfers pending as well. They're going to shy away from it, going to pull out, get that Brazilian fella rolling around and complaining and all the rest of it. Show them we got the attitude, show them we can win. And, and it'll be all of that. And whatever Moyes says is not going to become anywhere near as powerful as that. So, yeah.
Can I get your score prediction then?
West Ham 5 Fulham, Luton 0. No, it's I think it might be 2-2 or something like that, actually.
Yeah, I think there will be goals. I just think, come on, shackles off. Luton have got to throw a kitchen sink at us. Yeah. A point might be enough for them, but that's a big risk. You're then relying on other teams to do your. You already need teams to do your favour against Nottingham Forest. You don't want to rely on both teams doing your favour against Nottingham Forest. So I think they have to win. They have to go for it against us, and they might do David Moyes and wait till the 70th minute before they start cranking it up a little bit. But I feel that's what they did against Everton. And they just ran out of time. I thought they were the better side, but there was no time left. It was like they were getting corners and free kicks in stoppage time, but that was it. Peep, game's finished. You've got a point, well done, but it's not really enough. They have to win on Saturday. I was actually going to go for a West Ham win. 3-2 was what I was feeling, but with this news this week that Moyes turned up late to training, so did his coaches. I mean, and then it's been sort of announced that he's joining TalkSport, which is fine. I've got no issue with that. Like, he's entitled to go do that, and good for him. But what it does do is it shows that the club have given up on Moyes, but also that Moyes has now given up on West Ham completely, and understandably so. But if he's not even turning up to training, it's difficult to feel that anybody's taking this seriously. While we as fans are sitting here going, can't wait for the season to end, it feels like the players, because of what we've seen and because of what we're hearing, it feels like Moyes and his coaches have given up a little bit, because they'll all be going to become unemployed in the next 2 weeks as well. Well, Gaffer's going to got a Talk Sport gig, nice one. Nolan will probably be okay over on Talk Sport, but McKinley, Heitinga, might be thinking, hang on a minute, I now need a new job kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if this week they've spent the time contacting other clubs and they're trying to get out of West Ham ASAP. And again, understandably so. We've just spoken about livelihoods being important. It's important to those as well. So
can I just say, Gio, sorry, I want to make this point as well, because I spoke about the training thing just briefly in our video. I don't care. I don't care that he was late for training. I honestly couldn't care less. I actually think West Ham, I've no criticism at all. Go and line up your next job. Go and do what you do. I think this whole thing's a farce anyway, with this build up and waving goodbye and all the rest of it. Or just turn up. He doesn't have to manage the team. Just invite him on the pitch. He can go around and give he doesn't have to manage the team. I would prefer him to stay away from the moment it was announced that he's not. I'd prefer him to stay away until the game and parade him on the pitch and all the rest of it. Because I actually think West Ham have got a better chance of winning if he doesn't take training and Kevin Keane were to take training or something. That's just anyone. You know what I mean?
He might have a better motivational talk before the game. He might have something better to say.
I think almost anybody would than David Moyes or his coaching staff, because they're on their way. Out. If you say that, even a coach, even a youth coach, could go in there and say, "Look, boys, I know it's been a long, hard season, but this is my chance to shine. I've been toiling around in the background. Do you know what I mean? Can we try and do this? Why don't you guys try and prove that actually you're better than the tactics have allowed you to demonstrate this season? Let's go out. Let's put on an attacking display. Or just let me get a Premier League win bonus."
Or just pop Moyes in the backseat and bring Lopetegui into the dressing room before the game. Say, this guy's here. He's here today. He's going to be watching you all. Just letting you know. He's not going to say anything today. He's not the West Ham manager yet, but just letting you know, Lopetegui's in the crowd watching.
That's a good one.
That might get a few people up. Anyway, I'll tell you someone who won't be doing the team talk. Tim Steiden, he's banned from the changing room. But if you enjoyed this preview somehow, it's been a bit of a shambles of a preview, really. But then again, if that doesn't sum up West Ham's season, what does? But if you have enjoyed it, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe new event here to Hammer's Chat. Myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.